Hi everyone. Okay, we're gonna learn how to do a dependent sit pivot transfer from the bed to the wheelchair and then back to the bed. You would use this if you have a patient that doesn't stand independently, but they can bear some weight in their lower extremities due to some weakness or paralysis, and also when you as the PT are strong enough to perform the skill. If not, you would always have assistance from someone qualified. So for some preparation before we start the skill, and some of this is the same across all skills, you want to make sure the environment's clean and clear, safe for your patient. Our surfaces are aligned, or the surface you're transferring to is slightly lower, so you can use the effects of gravity to help you lower the patient. The patient themselves are properly draped for their own comfort and modesty. Also that they have on proper footwear because their feet will be planted on the ground. Gait belt should be secured properly in this skill, and you also want to make sure that you're providing the patient with instructions. So that can include actually demonstrating the skill and also explaining what cues you're going to give them. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, up, pivot, and I'm going to explain that to her later when I perform the skill. Okay, so first thing that we're going to do is set up your wheelchair positioning, and I want to have it parallel to the surface I'm transferring to and as close as you can get it there. We're going to make sure the wheels are locked, and you might want the wheels actually facing out to the side so that they don't get in the way of mine or the patient's footing. We're going to swing the footrests out to the side or remove them. And last, you're going to remove the armrest that's closest to the side of your transfer. Okay, so I have my dependent patient sat up in bed. You could refer to skill 7 or 8 with Adam or Sarah. And I also scooted her to the edge of the bed, which is skill 21, with her feet flat on the floor. Okay, so your positioning as the therapist, you're gonna have your feet and knees outside of the patient's feet and knees, with the foot closest to the transferring surface staggered slightly behind, so you can create a little bit of an opening for your pivot, also making sure we're not jacking our knees in any weird ways. The patient can do a few different arm positionings. If she's able to, she's gonna grab around your shoulders or upper back, never around the neck to compromise your body mechanics, and also she's just supporting her torso, She's not pulling on you because you're performing this skill completely independent. Alternatively, she can cross her hands across her chest or just rest them in her lap, and we're going to take her torso to the side opposite the transferring surface so that I can see where I'm leading the patient. Okay, Susanna, we're going to move to the wheelchair. Are you ready for that? Okay, I'm going to position you, and I'm going to cue you 1, 2, 3, up. We're going to rock for 3, raise up, pivot, and then lower into the seat. Does that make sense? Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, up, pivot, and lower. All right. Okay, so first the patient needs to be at the front of the chair. This is skill 21 again, and I can just do a pelvic scoop and support her torso to sitting. And with this skill, foot placement's going to be the same. My left foot slightly staggered back towards the surface we're transferring to, and I'm still guarding or blocking the lower extremity of the patient. I'm leaning her forward this time, and she's gonna rest her torso on my thigh, and hand placement is under the buttocks, and same cueing. Are you ready? Yes. 1, 2, 3, up, pivot, and you wanna support the patient as they come back up to sitting. So your skill is completed when the patient's secure in their new resting position. Again, you could refer to skills 7 or 8, lying the patient supine. I'm making sure bed rails are up if she's in the wheelchair, her lap belt's secured. We want to make sure she has any equipment that she needs, call button, anything nearby, and also make sure the patient's comfortable adjusting any pillows or blankets. And the major contraindication to performing this skill with a patient would be any sort of insufficient spinal flexion. They're not going to be able to move through this motion. The last thing I wanted to mention was if your patient has a weaker side in in this skill, and it's possible due to the environment, you're going to want to position their weaker side towards the bed so that if they can help at all with their stronger side, they'll be able to support the movement a little more fluidly. And that's all.